In today's presentation, I would like to suggest that the word religion, as in religious beliefs and so on, religion, is the original term for the study of relativity. Today, especially with the famous theory of relativity, hopefully enough people understand that everything is relative in this world. Even without going into difficult formulas, we see that everything is related. Everything is relative to something else. Color could be relatively lighter or darker. Distance could be relatively short or longer. Weight can be relatively more or less, right? Heavier or lighter. Density could be relatively denser or less dense, and so on. Again, we're talking about relativity in an everyday sense, that everything's relative in this world. There are really no absolutes. Well, there is one. There is one absolute, and it has a couple of names. One of them is axiom. Somebody probably knows the word axiom from geometry. An axiom is a rule that does not require the proof. Again, today geometrical axiom is a little different from the axiom, the original axiom. The original axiom simply it's just described by the word itself, axiom. There's only one axiom in this world, and everything else is relative. Well, I will get to the axiom, to the absolute, the only absolute, the only rule, or the only axiom a little bit later. But right now I would like to discuss the relativity, the phenomenon of relativity. Everything's relative in this world. Again, relatively bigger, smaller, taller, shorter, heavier, lighter, denser. It is so simple and basic that most of the people probably never think about it. Once in a while we will hear an expression, everything's relative, right? It's all relative. But for the most part, we again are so used to the creation, we're so used to the way the things are. It's almost an automated process. We exist, we live, we function automatically. We give very, very little thought to what creation consists of. Not because we don't care or don't have time, but it's just obvious. Things like that are so obvious. There's just no reason to think about it. However, just like with anything else, to learn the creation, and the creation is a system, or you can say it's a type of a mechanism it's a system, it's a device in a certain way. Well, to learn that device, that system, that mechanism, we have to look into it and have to take it apart. Usually the system, the device consists of many parts, and they put together, and they're not always visible right away. And you have to take them apart, meaning you have to get to the basics of that device. You have to get to the construction, right? Construction of that device, how it's constructed, how it's built. Well, the same with creation. Creation is built according to a simple rule of relativity. Everything's relative, everything's related. If we simply are asked, if somebody, a child, asks us, how is everything built? What is the main, or what are the main features of the creation? What are the main features of nature, of the world surrounding us? How is it? How can you describe it? Then we would have to admit that one of the most important things that we can say is that everything's relative. Everything has its features and qualities, and some some of that everything, some parts of the everything, right? Everything, we mean creation. By everything we mean nature, creation. Well, some parts, some elements of that everything, of that creation, of that nature, have some more qualities, more features of one sort and less of other sorts of qualities, and then others have a little more of this and less of that. But really, it's just a matter of quantity, so to say. Relatively more, relatively less. But again, relatively. More or less of this or of that, but relatively. The main attribute of creation is its relativity. It's very clear, again, it's so simple and basic, obvious, that we just do not think about that. We just don't give it a thought. And yet, once we start thinking about that, once we start seeing that, like really understanding this idea, we will start wondering, okay, well, what is it that there is more or less, relatively more of this or more of that? What are we talking mostly? We're talking about size, mass, color, speed. What are the what are we describing? The size of what? The color of what? The speed of what? What are we trying to touch? What are we trying to discuss? What are we trying to give those attributes to? And here comes the probably a somewhat difficult part, because really, in the end, it is the great unknown, so to say. It's something that scientists, of course, and just curious researchers, people, have been looking for as long as the humanity exists. In the end, we know everything consists of atoms. Atoms consist of smaller parts. Smaller parts consist of even smaller parts. And then the smallest parts, already the quantum, so-called quantum parts, are pretty much described as energy. Energy, we know waves or pulse, impulse. Energy is can be described as the flow of energy. It's a flow of a signal. Energy is a certain signal, a certain pulse, a certain signal, a certain flow of signal. And of course, energy has, again, its attributes as frequency and wavelength and vibrational rate, amplitude, so on. So relativity is all about different manifestations of the same, of energy. More energy or less energy. Relatively more energy, relatively less energy. Relatively more intense signal, relatively less intense signal. And of course, if it's bigger, brighter, then there's more energy with higher frequency and so on. If it's slower and darker and heavier, then that would equal to slower energies, lower frequency, lower amplitude, and so on. Well, is this something that everybody knows? Pretty much yes. Anybody who is interested in a subject can figure this out. The surrounding us world is just a set, a collection of signals of various intensities, one way or another, one way or the other. A more intense signal or less intense signal, in all its kinds and types and manifestations. It's pretty much signal. In the end, in the beginning, I should say, in the very beginning, it's a signal of different intensity. Again, strength and so on. Stronger signal, weaker signal, and everything that is attributed to the stronger or weaker signal: frequency, wavelength, vibration, vibratory rate, and amplitude, probably a couple more that I forgot to mention. And so in the beginning there is a signal, or in the beginning there is a signal. Now we know how the favorite line from the religion starts, right? From the religion, religious source, the source of religion called Old Testament. In the beginning there was such and such, right? Well, here we should just say in the beginning there is. It's not that there was, it is. It's still here. It exists. It didn't go anywhere. In the beginning there is signal. In the опять when we say in the beginning, we don't mean, we mean at the very base, at the very core, at the very beginning, in the sense of base, core, on the simplistic and the elementary level, there is signal. Now, how many names do I have for the signal? Plenty. Plenty. Anything is a signal. Sound signal, light signal, any other type of signal, energy, absolutely anything can be brought down to the definition of a signal, because everything really signals to us, right? Think about it. Everything is a sign. We see a sign all the time. We see signs, right? S-I-G-N, signs. We see them all the time. Like we see them every split second. We catch at least 25 signs every second, visual signs, right? Or probably more. I mean, consciously we catch about maybe 25, 24, 25. Subconsciously or unconsciously we probably catch much more than that. Again, it happens fast, it happens automatically, we don't notice how many signs, how many auditory signs, how many sound signs, right? And check the word sound. If you take just for a second, if you take the last sound D, you will be left with sound. That's almost sign. This is not a coincidental similarity. It's because sound is sign. It's an auditory sign. It's the sound sign. And of course, if you think of the word sight as in to sight something, to see something, sight, notice something, right? S-I-G-H-T, sight. And then again, compare it to the word sight and sound, although a little bit different, but again, they're not so far apart that we cannot see the similarity. Sight and sound. Again, take the T, you'll have psi. Yeah, the N is missing, but it's still it's pretty close. As far as I'm concerned, it's pretty close. So really, sight and sound, sign and signal, it's all about the fact that it's a constant perception of a signal. We constantly sight something, we constantly receive a signal, we receive signs, signals, constantly, as in like very often, like I said, like many times every second. And think about, and some signs or signals, right? Some signals, like I said, they're relatively smaller or bigger. Some signals are so short that we don't even notice them. Other signals are long, and we notice them. Some sounds are very short, we barely know, or very quiet, we don't notice them. Some sounds are loud, and we notice them. Some sounds are very loud and very long. We notice them even more. So again, it's just a matter of relativity, a matter of intensity. Uh, the the more intense the signal, the more we pay attention to it, the more we notice it, and something like, I mean, other than the very simple examples, right, of a loud noise and quiet sound, or a big object and a small object, right? We don't notice little rock, but we notice a huge rock, right? For example. Um, but also it's just a matter of attention too. Like we don't notice a little yellow leaf on the ground. We don't notice. There's so many of them. We don't notice. We notice leaves, or we don't even notice them anymore. But we don't notice a small little separate leaf on the ground. But we will notice a huge poster in the shape of a leaf sitting. Say it's a poster that's in the shape of a leaf that advertises something related to the fall or something like that, Halloween. And then we notice that because it's big and it's in your eyes and it's bright, and it's the intensity of that signal is such that we notice it for a long time. Relative. It's all relative. How is that related to religion? Oh, it's directly related to religion. If we think what religion is about in its true meaning, we'll see that religion, other than teaching about the supernatural powers and all that, religion tells us that there is God, right? I mean, probably the main character of religion is God. Now, what is God? Well, God is everything, right? Remember I used the word everything. God is everything. God created everything, and God is everything. I mean, any religion, absolutely any religion, will tell you that God is the creator and the creation. It's the Father and Son, meaning it's in everything. It's not that God created a little leaf on the ground. It's that God is that leaf. I mean, yes, God created it, but also God is that leaf. And every atom, every little elementary particle of it is still God, within God. Think about it. I mean, it's not that really not that unbelievable. We maybe our perception is so out of whack now that we just thinking it on a different level, so to say. We're thinking, oh, God created everything, and it's creation and creator. God is in every little particle. Oh, no, very hard to believe. Well, no, it's not. You just look at the other way, the opposite way. No, it's everything. It's the system. It's the system. Everything is the system. Everything is part of the system and the system. And don't forget that everything in the beginning, it's the signal. It's just the same thing, signals. The same thing through the entire creation, through entire everything, through entire nature. It's the signal. Just you want to call it energy, but it's organized, harmonic, organized, systematic. And the name for that system used to be God. Now it's a creation. Now it's creator, maybe, or well, yeah, nature. But it's just today's common words are that nature and so on. Well, in the past, they were just called different names. The same idea were called just a different name, God or Creator. It's the same. Really, religion describes the same. The religion describes the how the nature is built. There is everything. It's everything, and it's the same. Everything the same on all levels. All levels. Remember, levels, right? Levels of creation. It's all relative. Relative. Just levels of intensity, so to say. It's all relative, just levels of relativity, or levels of intensity. But it's all the same. Signal, God, call it signal. It's the same. Just levels of intensity. But all the same. I know I'm repeating 10 times, but it's very important. It's the same thing. So what religion teaches, it's all the same. It's all the same. Called God, or Creator, or creation. Call it, there's 50 other names. But it's all the same. In fact, since I brought up this word the same, the word same, right? Same, S-A-M-E, same. It's all the same. Now I can quickly tell you that the word axiom, the axiom, remember I said axiom, that's the word, the only absolute, the axiom. Well, the word the same is a close relative, or it pretty much means the same as axiom. The only axiom that there is, the only axiom that exists is that everything's the same. Axiom means everything's the same, similarity. Not similarity, not maybe not a very good example. The same. Similarity is a little different. Similarity, at least, well, it's similarity, but not in a sense that we use today. In the sense that it's all the same, but just differs by degrees of the sameness, right? Degrees of intensity, the sameness. So that's the word axiom.